Welcome back to the KOA Sports League.
Welcome back to the KOA Sports League.
Welcome back to the KOA Sports League.
We've got live broadcasts like you've never seen before.
Sinclair's holding them off. Cohen's off the front. Giuliano up the inside. Looks like Giuliano's going to time that attack perfectly.
We've got a pre-show like you've never seen before.
And in the race tonight, Alessio has a victim, and he's beaten him twice out of 2 times they've ever raced, and that's Yuri. So he's got the wood, as we like to say. We've got live workouts like you've never seen before. Seconds to go, 7 seconds to go. Start to grit those teeth, and you've just got to loosen the grip and push a little bit harder.
Performance verification like you've never seen before. Hang on. Whoa. Wait, hey. Mate, you're in the book. What's your Valentine? Right, you're in the book, mate. You're in the book. Kent Cross, you're in the book.
And it's all free.
And it's all free.
And it's all free. Welcome back to the KOA Sports League. Welcome if you have never joined us before as well. I'm Greg McDermott, and this morning, as always, for the community race, I'm joined by Tim Ballantyne.
Just the community race. How good was last night?
Oh,
How good was last night? We had 304 starters and about 296 finishes.
Kappa, just come back to me for a sec. This is all
that.
I've got to say about last night, mate. This is all I got to say.
Hey, hang on.
That's all I've got to say.
Preliminary results.
Oh, they're not up yet.
Preliminary results
I've claimed it.
Cycling New South Wales and Queensland. We're not 100% sure yet, but mate, we had a lot of fun last night. We had a huge amount of fun, and thanks everyone for getting involved. And the comments were flowing through. We had huge audiences, some of the best numbers we've ever had. So really appreciate that positive affirmation. But looking ahead, we are of course here for our KOA Sports Warrior community race, which has been on the calendar for a long time now, consistently over sort of 200 races. So it's, as a matter of fact, the same circuit that we did last night. It's just happened to line up. So we're, of course, doing one lap of Harrogate, Greg.
Yeah, absolutely. So last night, huge numbers. And again this morning or this evening, if you're in the US or Canada, we have over 200 athletes in the paddock, and they will be ready to get ripping and a tearing. So let's go ahead and have a look at this little course if we can. 2Ks of this course is straight uphill. You get a little reprieve downhill when you take that right-hander. Then there's a com. The com hits up at 14-15%, and all sorts of things are going to be going down when we hit that last section.
Yeah,
so
let's have a look at the ride-through that I so generously did a ride-through and set the cameras up and everything. So this is exactly what's in store for tonight. We'll get through this little bit of a clip. You like that, Greg?
Beautiful.
You like that, mate? Okay, so they'll roll out. They're going to take a hard right. Now, this is already, it's on. You're going to see attrition right now. 3-4% for a couple of Ks. That stretches the legs. I couldn't keep up with A-grade.
You got dropped.
I was busted. No, I wanted clean road, mate. Clean road. I gave the head wobble. So you can see there, 12.6 down, 4% top right. Look for that elevation if you are for the first time. And if you're watching for the first time as coaches, we really try and educate through the broadcast as well. So stick around for that. They're going to take a hard right-hander, Greg, here, and they start to get a bit of relief now.
Yeah, a bit of relief, and you'll start to pick up a bit of Tim and Kappa's animals, a few sheep and a few cattle here as you go through the backside of Yorkshire, the World Champs course as well. And this is a flat section, not too hard, but that string out in that first 2K is going to hurt. We hit this right-hander here, bang, straight up. 2% again.
Yeah, absolutely. And what you will also see is some attacks. You'll definitely see early attacks, particularly tonight. And that's big downhiller here. So if you do this reverse, that really hurts. So the big downhill, it's nice and fast. Teams start to get coordinated here in the KOA Sports League. And boy, oh boy, do we have some teams in. Things start to get really interesting. Maybe some lowering of heart rates, getting ready for, of course, the Yorkshire Com coming up in a couple of kilometres' time. And that is a deal breaker.
Oh, yeah, that's where you need to hang on to those bars real tight. You get this downhill, bang, left over the
Here we
bridge,
go.
straight up 6, 7, 8, 9% as you come up this climb. It isn't that long, but geez, it's going to break this field to pieces.
There's a tiny bit of relief on this climb, which we all appreciate. Right there at that roundabout, it just comes away to 3%. A little chance to maybe knock it down by a couple of beats per minute, but then it's on like Donkey Kong, 8-7% up this comp, and you are absolutely hurting to stay on. You try and get back onto the group that you want to get back onto. Down through Millionaires Row, of course, here, Greg, they've modelled your neighbourhood beautifully. You take the left-hander, and of course, Greg, the infamous finish line.
Yeah, so really iconic finish line here. We hit the right-hander a little bit further up the road. We hit this, there's the sprint comp. So first, just to jump back, there is 2 power-ups in this course as well. So hopefully you get the ones you need. And then you're going to come through down towards this finish line. It flattens out a little bit. As soon as you hit this right-hander at the end, you are going to see on the left-hand side the Zwift Brew House coming up any minute. And here it is there. Bang. That straight uphill to the finish, 10, 11, 12%, flattens out there and a couple of 100 metres up to the line.
It's a nasty...
Okay, first man we're going to highlight this morning is a man out of Japan. We have highlighted him before, but he is a regular in the KOA Sports Warrior League races, Mr. Kenta Endo. He hails out of Japan. He is an absolute beast. You'll see him right at the front of that main pack as they go up that first climb of 2 kilometres. So really lightweight rider is Kento. Does pack a huge sprint. Finished second in his last start, so coming into some really good form. And he's 5.3 watt per kilo record in a Zwift race was set not too long ago in a KOA Sports Warrior race. So good luck to Kento. Looking forward to seeing you out on the Yorkshire course this morning. Second athlete we're going to highlight is a man by the name of Craig Pike, a Canadian. Again, Craig Pike joins us every single week in the Warrior race. You will not miss him. He's on a Tron bike. I'm not too sure what colour. Always runs the teardrop helmet, though, and runs the KOA Sports kit as well. So part of Team Down and Dirty, and definitely one to watch. He will always be at the front. He often rolls through. Be a little bit harder for Pikey this morning with that 2K uphill to start, but definitely a man to watch when it flattens out across the top section. And good luck to Pikey, and always good to see him out in the Warrior race as well. Third athlete we're going to highlight is our man, Rick Charlesworth Ivany. So RC Ivany, another man out of Canada. I'm sure Tim will fill you in on his proper name as the broadcast continues, but we know him as Rick Charlesworth, the ex-Australian hockey coach. So there you go. Shout out to RC Ivany. Performer again, week in, week out, often in the front, has actually won the KOA Sports Warrior race. Back in the day, though, back in 2019. So the field has definitely come to the party since then. So looking forward to seeing him absolutely smash it out. Packs a sprint of 14.5 to 15 watts a kilo every single week. So watch him as they turn right and come up past the brewery towards the finish with about 500 to go. He's also a Giant ambassador in Vancouver. So big shout out to RC and good luck, mate.
One of the funniest things about that is we were just going back through some of RC Ivany's Training Peaks data, and he's actually put Richard Charlesworth Ivany as his name on Training Peaks, which is so good. Which is really, really funny. I want to take a look last night at the finish because if you are in this course for the first time, of course, Alex Side has just put in, obviously on Facebook, it is one of his all-time favourite courses. But let's have a look on how it went down last night. So you can see here, so of the typical names of Viarson and Messineo, these guys. So at the moment, we've got Nick Schultz there from Mitchelton Scott. He just rolled through to the front, probably a little bit too early, and then Viarson comes in on the outside, and Messineo now takes the lead. He's got that big draft bus just rolling on through. Viarson gets on his wheel there on the inside. Messineo, I won't actually spoil it for you. So Viarson here, we're with him now, over 1,000 watts. He drops the hammer. Messineo tucks in beautifully. Still got that draft bus being played. That was the critical thing, of course, coming up now on the inside. And Messineo took the win last night in the KOA Sports League race, and just having that power up was very, very handy indeed. So interesting finish, obviously. Let's hit the stinger and get right on down to the paddock for the race coming up. I reckon we'll be done in about 20 minutes time. So stick around.
kilo by Sproul.
Jason's coming back. Chris is coming back over the top.
Righto, here we go, Tim and Kappa. And hello to Kappa. We haven't said good morning yet. How's that coffee coming along this morning?
It's good.
Yeah,
Halfway
really
through, mate.
Well
halfway
made.
Through.
Well made. Here
we're
we are
off and
rolling out. So we've come out of the paddocks. Here's the finish line that they'll come under. So it's just one lap tonight of the Harrogate circuit. We'll just jump back. We did that pre-race. We'll go through exactly. And we always like to go through what you're looking at on the screen. Look at those guns. And as we roll through here, we saw Piker. We just did him re-race. And there's Addy Go. Just on
there you
cue,
go.
if you don't mind.
Shares the stream out for us every week. Does Addy Go? And great to see Tim and Kappa 218 starters, if you don't mind. So huge front group again will establish itself up this first climb.
Have a look top right there, 3% already. So this is where you get that attrition. Great view there, Cappuccino there in the helicopter or the drone looking back there. Luke Gilbert up front.
It's good to see him back in the race today.
He is back in the race indeed, yeah. So it's great to have you back, mate. So I'll be looking for you in the finish, that's for sure. So this is that long 2 kilometre section where it's just 3-4% on the hammer, 482 watts. Just watch that heart rate just start to tick, tick, tick,
Unbelievable.
tick, tick as it goes up the hill, and then they get a little bit of respite down the back section of the Harrogate circuit.
And Tim, your friend Alex Side, he is loving this course already. He is already sitting on 180 beats a minute in that front group. I just got a quick eye on him. Alex Side, and he will be donning, there he is there in the KOA Sports kit. And as I predicted earlier, Pikey right up the front in that teardrop helmet and the disc wheel in the KOA Sports kit as well. And good to see a few people backing up last night. I did see Messinio's name on the start list, but not too sure if he's in the field. We'll see if we can find him.
Yeah, of course. So we've had a pretty big week of sign-ups, it would be fair to say, Greg. And congratulations to everyone that has joined up in the last few weeks. And for all those, we have well and truly cracked through 1,000 KOA Sports League members, of which over now 600 have gone through the verification process on Training Peaks. So that is great to see. We've got an attack here from Jamison Cannondale, just rolling through 10.4 watts per kilo. Asking the question early here, Greg, Kritsu at 8.3 watts per kilo. So off the front here are Baldwin asking the question of the pack and stretching those legs out. We're going to see a little gap here open up. We've got 4 riders coming across the gap. We've got Ferrari at 8.5 watts per kilo, and Di McLean needs to close 4 seconds back now, back to the main pack, but very early this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. But a little for a group of 4 there with a 4-second lead off the main group.
Will they roll?
So Gilbert as well, just at the front of that main group. He'll be looking to bridge back across, along with Boniface and a few other big names and big hitters in the Zwift world. So this is an actual genuine attack that's gone really early.
Let's watch this unfold, because they're pretty well lined up. They may roll some turns here. So I'm going to call him Ferrari. That's way easier. Ferrari there off the front there at 6.4 watts per kilo, holding beautifully. Kretsu there as well in this main pack. Baldwin and Di. Ferrari comes now on the outside. This looks pretty coordinated. This might be a little WhatsApp group.
Absolutely. So just checking in with Ferrari. We haven't seen him in the group before. So a relatively new Zwift race of 37 races under his belt. He's an under 20 rider and has a 20-minute power of 5.1 watts a kilo.
Charlton doesn't like the look of this. Very smart. McLoone coming across the gap as well. They're going to close this down. And McLean now off the front. So here they come. They've already done that back section already in 3.5 minutes. Group of 6 up the front. 12 seconds back to Sproul McLoone. Ooh, here we go. Some panic stations, because this big peloton's going to be motoring down. That's a big gap. 16 seconds. Goodness me. So they're off the front here. We've got a group of 6 riders now in the front. If they can really start to get organised, we might have to shut the gate on the rest of the pack.
Yeah, so good to see Kretsu in there in that front group as well. We're just going to try and get some data from some of these guys. We've got a few new names in there in this race, so really good to see. And that's a pretty solid gap there. 11 seconds back to that chase group. Now we'll call them the main group, peloton or chase group, whatever you like. So
good breakaway.
Yeah, plenty of experience in that main group as well, with Glavac, Gilbert. There's Kenta Endo. Alex Sides made it up the climb. Sivery, who I've highlighted before. So some real big powerhouses in the Zwift community that are right back in that group chasing.
Not sure how organised they are. They're just starting to string out again. So maybe this is really good to see. see. We love to see this, and they're certainly not all from the same team. So we had a breakaway early there of 4 riders coming through that last little section, of course, of that sort of 4% grading at the start. They came downstairs, took advantage of that, and that chasing peloton now only 9 seconds back. So we know that they can certainly close that gap, particularly with the Yorkshire Com coming up, Greg. That's some seriously heavy climbing, but it's great to see these sorts of things happening in Zwift racing because it's just one lap.
Yeah, one of the hardest things here for the group off the front is that they are never out of sight on this course until they hit that right hand corner. So when you can see them up the road, when you can see that group up the road, you've always got to sniff at them and know that you're moving up towards them. So that gap is starting to come down a little bit. Just about to hit the right hander here, the big sharp right hander at the top, and we'll see a few of Tim and Kappa's animals as we go along the back section of the course.
Yeah, they're starting to slowly work this pack back. You've got names like Gilbert, Sproul, Alex Side, very experienced Zwift racers, Glavac, Greg Savori, Newton, Alvarez, and Bevan. 12 watts per kilo. Bevan there coming through at 12 watts per kilo, just rolling through to the front. They're going to get this group back 6 seconds, but it was a great attack, and good to see McLoone here now rolling through to the front. Yep. We're having none of that.
No, absolutely. They're going to bring that back together very shortly, and just throw across to Kappa. We did see the name Bevan in the front group there, and Kappa, that is a very famous name in Australian cricket over the years. Yes, so you can spell it how you want, but it's still Bevan.
I'll never forget Bevo. Yeah, and that I think he hit a 4 off the last ball
straight down,
SCG, straight down the ground.
Baseball batted it straight down against the West Indies.
Of course, our American and Canadian viewers will love that.
They've just gone to sleep. There's Pikey now bringing that group back together.
The Pikey train.
It is a train, isn't it?
Talk about attrition.
Oh my God!
This front pack is small.
Compared to last night, we had about 65 riders here last night. So. Definitely a smaller group.
About to do the big downhill here. So 9-10% downhill gradient. They are going to be flying lots of aero tuck positions down here as they start to wind their way back down this Harrogate circuit. Nice chance here to just maybe lower that heart rate by a few beats per minute. Tick back up, close that gap. Side now comes right through, closes it down, shuts it down, but kudos to that front pack of 6 riders that are about to roll through. Very hard to stop that steam train downhill in Zwift as they roll through, and we're all back together.
Let's just keep an ear out at the finish there. If the Ferrari and those other riders figure in the finish now, or they've burned all their bickies to make that attack. We've just got this group's now probably down to about 20-25 riders. There's Boniface on the right-hand side there, and Kretsu's just established himself back in that group as well with the Commonwealth Bank man himself, Tim, the Zwift kid.
One day we'll get a clip for that. And Harding, Newton, Ferrari, Downing, Dye, Creel. So all back together. Sproul off the back there. I reckon that's Pikey there in the sperm helmet on the disc wheel.
The what?
Because the sperm helmet, the aero helmet. That's what it's called. That's all good. I'm happy to go with that. Sproul there. We know Sproul's kit so well. And Baldwin now rolling through to the front. So still pretty relentless here. Just 178 beats per minute for R. Baldwin at the moment and rolling through to the front. So this is a hard race, Greg. Yeah. I cannot wait to see this Yorkshire Com coming up in just probably a couple of minutes' time.
Yeah, well,
we're 8 minutes in.
So the Zwift Live's now got the A riders, 24 of them, pinned at a finish time under 18 minutes. Unbelievable. So we're going to hit this right-hander up here very shortly. We're at the Squirrel, and then we'll roll downhill for a fraction, and then we're going to hit the Yorkshire Com, which will again break this apart. We saw last night Sergeant Schultz dropped the hammer up that climb last night and broke the field apart, but they all came back to his wheel, and some of the big names in Zwift racing last night came home to take the chockies straight up past the brewery and up to the finish. Very good front group here, 24 riders and all very experienced.
Yeah, we had and of course, if we haven't mentioned earlier, the KOA Sports podcast, we did our last episode. It dropped, I think, was it last week? Yep. Weeks are just starting to merge into one. But we had Nathan Guerrera on, special guest there, and what an unbelievable story he had to tell. So if you like a bit of Zwift racing and you are tuning in here for the first time or have heard Nathan before, I think you'd be pretty surprised with the story that he's got to tell to how he got to where he is today. So we had about a couple of hours with Nathan. So some nice, I would say, trainer tunes. Not music, of course, but just the dulcet tones. So, yeah, look out for that. So here we go now. So they're coming down that back section. Not long to go now, about half a kilometre to go for the start of the Yorkshire Com. We're going to see some trainer and leg explosions now over the next couple of minutes. Who's going to roll to the front? Alex Side, we know, loves a climb. Alex Side loves a climb. Here he comes rolling through to the front. Alex Side, if you don't mind.
Start of the
so there he is in the all-green kit and the orange hat, Alex Side. So we'll see some big attrition here, Greg. We're going to lose at least half this front pack. We got an attack there off the front in the all. Is that Baldwin or Ward off the front? Ward there coming through. No, Baldwin again. Baldwin off the front.
And Farrar and Boniface. That's Gilbert there on the left-hand side in the green kit and the green Tron bike. He's just sitting in there fourth wheel at the moment. And just in front of him there, you've also got McClune and Dai as well, the Japanese athlete. And our man Kenterendo in there too, Team Finns. As I said, he'll definitely figure here, Tim. He's 64 kilos, Kenterento. And you'll see the Zwift kid coming up through the field there too. He's about 47 kilos. So these guys will all roll to the front. And you expect the likes of Pikey to maybe struggle a little bit on this climb.
Oh, that's a bit harsh. Bit of a clip there for Pikey. That's what you get for
push,
wearing
son,
next percent.
push.
We got Baldwin there off the front. 1 second, just holding that 1 second gap, but just not enough, obviously, to break away. But look for Baldwin in the finish for sure, because it's, of course, we've got that climb before the sprint finish. So clearly some good climbing legs on this bloke. So Ciano there rolling there second. McClune comes through to the front. We don't see the likes of Sproul till probably later today in this race. McLean now coming off the front here. McLean now just responding at 6 watts per kilo and coming right on through across that flat section. The only time you get just that little bit of respite up the Yorkshire Com.
Yeah, you'll see in the top right-hand corner of the map there, you can see the little archway just before that left-hander at the top. So still a few hundred metres to go for these athletes as they come up now. And Dye goes to the front and lays it down at 10.5 watts a kilo. Kay Ward trying to come across the gap, the Australian athlete as well. So this is, look at the string out there. Kappa's got the helicopter perfect and very, very strung out field now. We're only going to see about half of these athletes get together, I think, as they come across the top.
So Dye and Baldwin, they were certainly in that early attack. So Dye here pushing across the top of the com at 9.7 watts per kilo, 735 watts, maintaining a nice heart rate. We probably see that start to tick up a little bit as they come on and just start to tick down as they come through the other side and get to the really interesting part of this race. So Baldwin now, are they going to come back all together, or will we see these 6 riders we saw earlier break away? But this is strung out. Probably will Concertina back
coming
together.
Back again too, the US athlete that had that attack early. Kretsu, he's pushing back across there, bridge across and make a group of 3 at the front. There's 4, 5, 6, 7 riders now that are right at the front of this, and then a 4-second gap now back to Sproul and Conti. So those 2 athletes will have to work really hard. Great to see Sprouley in there as well as always.
Nearly under 2 minutes on that Yorkshire Com. That is very, very, very solid indeed. So here's that front pack now. So down to about 7 or 8 riders, I think, but there'll only be a small gap back. 9 seconds ain't too small. I got that wrong. So Luke Gilbert, Sproul, the big sprinters we know, like the Santa Sequoias winners, Lizelle, those types of riders, struggled up that Com. Can they close the 7-second gap? That's a dangerous gap at this part of the race. And Alex Side there just doing a beautiful comment there. So 9 seconds back. I think they'll shut that down. But McLean, Ward and McClune are pretty handy, so they might be able to hold them off.
Just about to hit this left-hander now and head it around through town, so we've only got about 2.5 Ks to go here.
This hurts.
Not too long to look at this 8% again.
Yeah,
so
this hurts.
This is where that back, the group behind can certainly bridge back some of that 9-second gap as they come back to this group.
Yeah, so let's have a look. So we've got McClune, Kretsu, Dye, and Otterhouse in there. So coming back through now, this is going to really hurt the likes of Sproul in that backpack. Just that extra 8% back there. Bevan now trying to close that down. They are indeed coming back together. Some pretty smart riding by these guys back here. But that's genuinely 2 gaps we've seen blow out to over 10 seconds in this race and come back together. So how many matches, though, have the likes of Gilbert, Downing, Sproul burnt just to bring this back together?
Yeah, check out some of these heart rates. So 167 there from Bevan as he rolls back across. So starting to climb up. And that front group now, he's Kretsu again. 11 watts a kilo from Kretsu in the front group. So he is not stopping. And a little right-hander here, left-hander. Then another hard rider along the back section through town and through Yorkshire, through Harrogate actually. So
this is not together. Look at that view. This is not together. These are riders just doing their darn best to try and get back back on this front pack, doing the best that they possibly can. So here's the start of the sprint comp, so they'll pick up another power-up, obviously, as well. So, interesting time. Go, Alex. Some good shout-outs there and some comments coming through on ZCL as well. We've got Baldwin there still in that yellow jersey, really controlling this race. Baldwin having a dominant effect here on the race this morning in the Warrior race. Moving up on the inside there, you can see Ward and Dye again. Kretsu doesn't. He likes to control the race too. So familiar names again here.
Yeah, we've definitely seen Chappelli there, Chappelli Otterhouse in that front group as well. So good to see the cricketers coming out. And that gap now again back to that second group, 3-4 seconds back to Gilbert. Has Gilbert and Glavac and McLuhan lit in the match yet? We don't know. We'll see that when they hit the right-hander at the Brewhouse.
When you've got riders that have done 300 or 400 Zwift races and probably raced this, I'm just going to guess 20 or 30 times, they're going to know the course well. But they're going to come back together. But with this 8-9% finish line just before the sprint, I'd say the winner may come from here. I'm going to say the winner's
coming from there as well,
Coming from here. From what we've seen, they're not going to be out to climb.
Here
we go, an attack here by Otterhouse here. 11.2 watts per kilo. Drops the aero power helmet really early. Finish line still got a ways to go just now. But here they come through. Kretsu now responds. Will they shut that down? So definite attack here by Otterhouse. Otterhouse now puts 3 seconds back to the chasing pack and then probably another 9 seconds back to the other pack.
He's gone 1.5 Ks out, and Kretsu now burning up his power up too, just to bridge back across.
Wow.
So
action-packed.
So those two athletes will have no bickies left on the line, and they burn up 2 good power ups as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got Otterhouse there off the front. McLean responds. Jamison comes along. Ferrari, Gilbert. We are all back together. Back together indeed. So very early with that power up. That would have come in real handy down the line. Severi and Luke Gilbert, you can see there in the green kit. I'm going to put the kiss of death on Gilbert right now. So look for him in the finish, but he has not spent a match. And Tim's just pointing out an athlete there in the pink and blue. I'm not too sure who that is at this stage. Try and get a name pop up there because they've just been riding really smart.
I think that might be Dye, who had a little attack early, and we've got just under 1K to go. We're about to see things get absolutely lit up here in the Cole Sports race.
It is Dye because he took out the com there on the Yorkshire comp. Just riding really smart. Not sure how much.
So here we go, Tim. We're about to hit the squirrel and take that right-hander, and we're going to hit this 10% climb. This is where it's all going to get laid down here. Wait till you see some of these orange numbers start to drift through very quickly. Conti, very experienced. Look at the feathers being played very early there. Conti now 8 watts a kilo. The Ferrari 12.5 watts a kilo. They're all in orange now as they come up towards this finish line. Here we go, 11 watts a kilo from Ferrari. Here we go, Dye out of the pack now, burning his power up really early. So Tim, here we go.
Yeah, Dye looked really good on that Yorkshire com now, flying down the outside, Don. Dye, here he comes with the aero helmet. Has he played it too early? We'll see. He's gone off the front at 12.4 watts per kilo. Here comes Sproul in the chasing pack. Sivori. Has Dye going to hold on? Here we go with Conti coming down and Sivori. Sivori trying to shut down Dye. I think the gap's too big. Sivori's going to do the chase. He's sitting up a little bit too early, but Dye takes the win. Called it early. First prediction ever correct. And Dye just looked strong on that com. And it just translated here to the finish. Let's have a look at this finish. We've got another finish rolling through now, a group of 4.
Still very experienced athletes. We've got Sprowley coming up to the line now. They're just hit this com now. You start to see them burn up these power-ups. Here comes Sprout. These guys might have already burnt them trying to stay with that front group. So Sprout, 5.8 watts a kilo from him. Alvarez coming up to the line as well. Then we've got Mo and Harding just 20 seconds back as well. So Cuevas there off the front, the Chilean athlete. 5.9 watts a kilo. Sproul just sitting in for a second, is he? Yes, he is. He's just sitting in on that Tron bike, and we will see him
brutal
push
race
really hard as well as he comes up to the line.
Yeah, Alvarez here responds pretty well. 9 watts per kilo, just rolling up on the inside. There he goes. Get the head down. 10.3 watts per kilo. Sproul responds at 10.2 watts per kilo. Alvarez now just rolling through. Sproul not quite got the legs it would seem. We'll see if he comes late. But Alvarez going to take the win just in this group. 14.1.
14 watts a kilo, if you don't mind, just to finish himself off and stick a fork in himself. So great work from Sprowley as he rolls through as well. And some awesome, amazing results. Absolutely phenomenal results.
Let's have a look at the replay finish there of Dyer's win, because it was he moved through the pack, he just sharked it really, really smartly. So you can see him there in the pink kit just sitting there, hasn't played the power up yet, but a lot of those power ups are just out of necessity. I just want to be there in the finish. But Dyer there, you can see in the all pink kick, bang, there's the Aero Power helmet, drops the hammer. We'll pick him up soon now. Look at him move through the field and just shuts the gate. I think he actually sat up with about a second to go as well. And the chasers just couldn't quite close the gap. So just a really, really good attack here by Dyer. He rolled through to the front and took the chockies, as you say. Here's the chasers now here. They try and shut it down. 14.3 watts per kilo by Conti and Savori. Great view here. Savori and Conti side by side, locked horns, trying to chase Dyer down. But Dyer here just sits up and rolls it over the line. So
waves at the crowd as he rolls through as well. And great win from Dyer.
Yeah, really smart racing on that Harrogate course. Geez, that was over fast. But Greg, we'll wait for those official results to roll on through, and we'll pick them up off Swift Power. So, of course, last night in the KOA Sports League races, pardon me, the results will be posted from on our website a bit later today. So we're just about to finish off the review there and post them up. So our points actually officially start next week. But what we thought we'd do is we'd give everyone a chance to, we'll call them soft results. They don't count for anything, but there definitely is some people that are going to be removed there from top 5 with tolerances and going over. We've got some data as well that wasn't pushed through on Training Peak. So just a chance. Heart rate monitors dying as well, so a chance to change those batteries this week and make sure that if you're in a team or you're racing for points individually, that you've got a chance to be on the scoreboard. So it's not a clip by any sense. It's more of a chance for you guys in the league who are members to just have a good chance to go back and just clean a few areas up and just make sure you're in the right cat when we start racing for sheep stations, as we know. Greg, have you got any results there?
I have got some results, not from ZP just yet, but we'll run with the companion app.
Go with the companion app.
Taking out the chockies, the Lindt chocolates and the Easter bunny was Dye, 17 minutes and 31 seconds. Unbelievable. Conti in second place, Sivori in third. The Ferrari held in there for fourth. You picked him early, Tim.
Yep.
And he didn't quite hold in there. Then we had Luke Gilbert in fifth. I picked him. I put the kiss of death on him. Absolutely.
Yeah, kiss of death.
Our regular suspect in the top 10, Mr. Ciano, the Zwift kid, always figures in the top 10. That's probably 30 races now. Yep. We had S. McLean there, Team Cannondale in 7th. Kretsu, I'm going to give Kretsu most combative rider there. He was off the front a few times. He was in 8th, Downing in 9th, and rounding out the top 10 was Ward. So just a quick shout out as well to Baldwin. He was another one that lit the race up all the way, finished in a very strong 13th, and if you don't mind, averaged 6 watts a kilo for that 17-minute effort. So definitely, I would imagine we're going to see some huge numbers come through when these guys upload their results and some new FTPs and everything set as well. Yeah,
absolutely. So great to have your company this week. So a chance now for us to go away, look at some more data and have a look at a few things and kick off, of course. Next week, we'll have round 2 of the State of Origin, of course, cycling. Queensland and Cycling New South Wales going head-to-head as part of our league race. So it's great to have them on board. Plenty of viewers last night. Share the post, like the content, check out the podcast. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Be safe.